right? I believe that we are live and we're feeding out to the folks out there in the world. We are live. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, you're listening to this on iTunes or wherever else you're listening to it, we are live on Utreon because I could do this. I can handle guns. Check that out. It's my mare's leg right there. I can actually, YouTube won't let us do that. That simple little thing, they won't let us do it. So if you want to join us live, you go to Utreon / Who Moved My Freedom Podcast or WMMF Podcast. That's where you can catch us. Big shout out to the folks from Utreon. I believe that Edward Brower, the CEO of Utreon, is in the chat right now. All right, that being said, I'm going to kick everything off here. Let's do this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange Situation. Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded.
We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Franklin Armory. Franklin Armory provides 100% US-made firearms and awesome binary option triggers. Their focus and purpose is to provide freedom tools to all Americans, especially those in not-so-free states. So when you're in the market, please consider Franklin Armory. All right, and don't forget to smash those thumbs. Well, it's not even thumbs up. It's an arrow up under the title here on Utreon. There's an arrow up. Smash those so we can. We've got quite a few people here in the chat. We are live. I hope you guys have your big girl panties on. Let's get jazz hands going here. Come on, jazz hands. Let's get it going. There you go. All right, we are live. This is episode 914 of the Who Moved My Freedom podcast. The title is 3D Printing with Alex of CTRL+Pew. There he goes. Boom. There's Alex.
Yo.
From my undisclosed location.
My secret lair.
Yes, absolutely. And then we also have my friend Vinh Nguyen. I know I mess it up every time, Vinh. Sorry.
It's Nguyen.
Nguyen, yeah. There you go, yeah. So, you know why I mess it up? Because I've had other friends over the years that pronounce the way that your name is spelled in different ways. So, which is, I guess you've heard it all before, but, you know.
Yeah.
And, like, when I went to high school with someone, and they're like, oh, you have to pronounce that NG part as Eng. So they would do, like, Nguyen or something like that, so. But my apologies, right? So yeah, here we go. We're going to talk 3D printing. We got the dudes right here. Shout out to everyone who's out there right now. If you guys have questions and all of that, let us know. Is anyone other than me looking at the chat?
My chat's like over here on my other monitor, so I have an eye on it.
I feel like there's people in the chat trying to start shit already.
Uh-oh.
Look, that guy in the middle is far too pretty to be Rob Pincus. All right.
Yeah, look at this handsome dude right there. Really, look at his wall. His wall is putting you to shame, Alex. Look.
Right.
Come on, man.
It really is.
Dude.
I'm low key a little jelly, but look, I have the fuck you Glock pile behind me.
Okay, yeah,
nicely arranged.
It's not a bunch of neon lights.
Right?
Yeah. So let's catch up with these guys. Maybe we'll start with Alex. What have you been up to since the last time you've been on? Has it been a while? It must be.
It has been. It's been like 6 months since I've done a stream with anyone. It's been kind of busy. So I moved from Iowa. I'm now a Floridian.
Yay!
I got the driver's license and everything. I even got a concealed carry permit from Florida. So,
oh right, congratulations!
I'm fully native.
You are Florida man.
Yeah, I am Florida man.
All in.
So that's new. Down here, starting a business. I'm sure y'all will hear about it a lot later. Right now, it's too soon to say anything.
Okay.
And I spent the last minute or two looking for a spring that was out of a gun that I missed. It was here in a pile of parts and then it disappeared. So anyway, I was distracted. Sorry.
Yeah.
I found it now. We're safe. Y'all know how springs are with guns. So anyway.
Yes. No. Once they're gone, man. What are you even looking for?
Right. No. It was attached to the magnet on the bottom of my phone. So.
Okay. Oh, so you found it. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway. Native Floridian now. In Florida, making guns in an undisclosed location.
Do you have a dolphin tattoo yet? Do you have a dolphin tattoo?
I don't have a dolphin tattoo.
So you're not living in Tampa. You're not living in Tampa.
No, not in Tampa. I don't know what's the Orlando Tampa not Tampa. The Orlando tattoo.
The Orlando, that's a good question. Mickey Mouse, I'm gonna guess. I guess
maybe.
Yeah, people in Orlando would have Mickey Mouse.
Disney wants to pay me or something.
Huh?
Says something along the lines of like tourist trap of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, if Disney, if you're watching, if you want to pay for it,
oh, okay.
I'll totally get a Disney tattoo.
Oh, okay. All right. Disney will probably pay for it if you put a rainbow or something behind it. They'll be all in.
Yeah, a rainbow.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if you guys are even into all of that stuff. Some of the folks out there know what I'm talking about. Yeah, some of the folks know. So Vin, what's up with you, man?
Oh man, I've just been like busy working on like my day job as well as some new projects that came out, and I'm glad they were on Utron because I can do this.
Yes, you can do it all you want to. Yeah.
This is a remix I did of Chairman Wan's frame. Just extends the dust cover for G48. But we just dropped this over the weekend. We just dropped the 43X frame.
Oh, cool.
And we added compatibility for Shield Arms mags. So,
nice.
It's on the catalog, so.
Okay.
Go buy the originals from Abe's and go on catalog and grab a frame and parts kits, and there you go.
Okay, sweet. Cool. Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Patrick, Babyface P. Alex knows who I'm talking about. You've unfortunately never met Babyface P for some reason.
Vin doesn't spend enough time subscribed to the Hank Strange experience.
Oh, see? Yeah, well, he's young. The young people don't know about Hank Strange, Back in all the older people knew before YouTube started shadow banning me, So Vin doesn't know about that, but we'll introduce you sometime when you come down to visit us here,
Oh.
Yeah, we need to have some kind of thing where we just get together and shoot a bunch of 3D printed guns, man. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. We can get print, shoot, repeat. Maybe I don't know. We'll get Flying Rich. Yeah. We'll get Flying Rich. We'll get a bunch of guys in here. We'll shoot some stuff. We'll see what works and what doesn't work. that is always the thing. So let's see. So since the last time that you guys were on, what's the new 3D stuff out there to print? I've even got a 3D printer now, believe it or not.
It's about time.
Yes.
I'm a little disappointed you didn't get one after our first conversation. But
it's just been crazy, man. I have a tough time keeping up with 3 YouTube channels.
No, I hear you.
Yeah.
And it's hard to find space for a 3D printer in a van, so
Oh yeah, we'll definitely.
I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a house. Yeah, I've got a house in different places. I do have a 3D printer here. My younger son is like really into that kind of stuff. I also have a Ghost Gunner machine that just came in recently. Ooh. So yeah, I'm gonna get into some stuff. I'm gonna make some. It's gonna happen. The older people move a little slower.
That's fine. We got walkers and rascals for y'all. It's not a big deal. Through technology, we can make you better.
Flying Rich is out there. Shout out to Flying Rich. What's the new? So you know what I'm into now? SIG P320. What do you guys have out there for the P320?
I think there was a frame someone's working on. Nothing at
Digital
the moment.
Nimbus.
It's yeah. The problem with the 320 is you can get the MUP kit, the 80% kit, but the hard part to get it, you still have to buy.
Yeah. So So I know who else sells it other than JSD Supply. I know JSD Supply has it, right?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who else.
Yeah, that's the only person I know. Yeah.
Right.
And Babyface actually did one of those. He actually completed one of those. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if he posted that video yet or he will be at some point, but I know he sent me pictures and things like that. Maybe I'll find something here and throw it up to share with you guys.
I know I have a kit from ages ago. I just haven't sat down to put to it yet. Mm-hmm. But Yeah, the biggest hurdle is you still got to buy that part and do your
Mm-hmm.
your background check, generally speaking, for the P320s. So
Yeah, yeah, that is, so when I first started my channel, way back in the olden days, I actually did videos on the P250s. You remember those?
yeah, I had one for a while. It was
Yeah.
good. It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it was cool. I had like a whole bunch of different things I could change it to. It can go full
Hmm.
size and subcompact, all of that, change calibers and everything. The worst part about it was the trigger.
Hmm.
So, and then I gave up on the whole thing, I think, because of that trigger. But the P320s are like a big difference.
Yeah, no. If people who complain about the 320s didn't ever shoot one of the 250s,
Yeah.
because it's you're right. It's a lot better.
Yeah. I feel like it's a whole different ball game. Go ahead, Vin.
I'm actually a fan of the 250s. It's one of the smoothest and consistent double action triggers
Okay.
that I've tried. It's long, but I know it's not everyone's flavor. My first
Yeah.
gun was a DAK
It
Yeah.
likes it.
SIG, so
That's what she said, right? I like this. Oh, okay. Yeah, we're not going to be childish at all today.
Yeah, no, we're totally mature adults here.
Yeah. Yeah, some people do like that long trigger pull, that double action long trigger pull. Some people love that. You know, I got kind of tired of it, so I got out of it, and then I've been getting back in it lately. So the big thing you guys are saying is getting parts, right? That's still a problem, getting parts.
Yeah, I mean specifically for the 320, it's unless you're getting the 80% from JSD, the MUP, um, you have to go through the background check and everything else. Whereas like the endless Glocks that would come out, or the Tech 9 stuff that's out there,
Mm-hmm.
it's all relatively. I I guess I hesitate to say relatively abundant because
Mm-hmm.
post COVID everything's strained, but it's still easier to build one of the Glocks.
Okay. And it's easier to find parts for the Glocks. I was under the impression
Right.
that even the Glock parts were hard to find,
Um,
or not so much.
I guess it depends on which Glock. I mean, PSA has really shredded the Gen 3 Glock 19 aftermarket
Mm-hmm.
with their dagger parts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And that's a good
most of
thing,
which
right?
just right,
mhm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time coming, and
Mm-hmm.
thank God it's finally arrived.
Yeah.
Because you have all of the aftermarket vendors who are doing custom cut Glock slides and everything else,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have PSA who's blowing them out for $300 every week.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was in Kansas at Fort Scott Munitions in Kansas, right? And they
Hmm.
have a store, and they had a bunch of cool, daggers in there. Just like that is a game changer, and I think it's a good thing out
Oh
there
yeah.
in terms of. So, have you guys noticed that the other companies have to get competitive with prices?
Um, I've seen a lot more sales on like the Glock kits, the build kits. I don't know if that's because of ATF tomfoolery or if that's because of the a response to the dagger pricing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have seen a lot of sales, and I mean a lot of like every day. There's a new email from someone else talking
Yeah,
about a sale
yeah,
for Glock parts.
yeah. I think I've seen that too.
Okay.
What about you, Vin?
PSA doesn't sell lower parts kits for their dagger, do they?
Yeah,
Not
Or
kits. They
they do?
sell
they
they sell
they
the
sell
individual
part. Yeah,
parts.
they sell parts. Yeah, not
Uh,
kits. Yeah, that's
so I
right.
figured it'd probably be cheaper for people to just buy a bundle off like eBay or some other site.
Um, they've been selling. I think that's a secret part of the mission there with that thing. To not initially they were just trying to get the daggers out there, but yeah, you can get all kinds of different parts for it, and I feel like more companies should just get into the business. So I've been
PSA
telling,
trigger.
yeah,
Oh wow.
It's
yeah,
it's it's really bad, but it's a trigger. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. If you guys ever
Mar-
talk to anyone at PSA behind the scenes there, they'll tell you their mission is to make guns cheaper and more accessible to everyone in America. That's their mission. Of course, they want to make money, But their way of
Right.
going about it is like, we're going to figure out how to get these things out there, make them better and more affordable, and everyone has access to it. So they're probably the biggest company in the firearms industry, but I don't know if everyone realizes that. No questions?
You
No
wouldn't
one's
think they are.
challenging that? Oh,
You
they.
wouldn't
I
think
think. I think they are.
they're.
Mhm.
I guess, like, peeking back behind the curtain, because I haven't ever spoken to PSA, but I've spoken to people like machine shops who are contracted by PSA, and they are uh like scrambling on PSA orders all the time. So I guess it would make sense that they're just moving so much volume.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like, as far as like the, I would have assumed, until you said it and I thought about it, I would have just assumed it was like Brownells.
Oh no, Barnauls is a great company. I mean, they're like Sears catalog for guns, and they have been that for a long time. And obviously, they're into online, and they sell a lot of stuff, but they don't actually manufacture anything.
Right.
So
Oh.
yeah, Barnauls doesn't make anything.
Oh, that's curious.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of other companies that make stuff for them, and probably quiet as it's kept, PSA is making a couple things for them out there, But PSA, man, I've had them on and we've talked about this, and it's not something that they want to like make a big thing of, but if you really look at what they own, the manufacturing that they own, and the amount of materials that they buy, it will blow your mind. I know I went to one of the factories here in Florida, and there were just like big, massive trucks coming in there with materials all the time. I don't want to misquote it, but it's in the video. If you go back and look at the video, you'll see me asking them how much raw materials come in there, and it was in the millions. Millions of dollars worth of raw material coming through, and that they're making things and putting them out there. And people just don't realize it, and there's a lot of companies out there that have bigger names and all that, but those guys really have this whole thing figured out. So
Wow.
yeah, you were at the PSA gathering, Vin.
Yeah, it was actually pretty fun getting to, I guess, talk to PSA, or at least someone from PSA. Being to play with the rock slide, that was very interesting. And he just opened it up right there too, and just like looked inside. And I mean,
Yeah.
I told him like straight up, this is like the perfect candidate for 3D printing a frame.
Yeah.
And once they released it to market, Digital Nimbus went ahead and made a printable frame for it already. So
Yeah.
I told them if they sold the parts, just the rock parts by themselves, they'll make a killing.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's gonna
But
happen.
I recall
Although
the guy said that
I wanna encourage them to like go talk to the guy who designed the frame and give him a cut, because starving artists.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of things. There's a lot of folks that have designed stuff that work for them now. I'm trying to remember exactly what company. I don't know if Lola's listening, but there was a guy that I met out there that did a lot of designing, because they took over. What was it that they bought from the Freedom Group? I'm trying to remember what they wound up. Someone will tell me here in the chat exactly. It's DPMS, I know for sure, and I think this guy was at DPMS. Yeah. Go ahead, Vin.
I think they also bought an ammo factory. Was it Remington or Winchester?
No, they were. I think they were trying to buy Remington, and that wound up going to someone else. But didn't they? Didn't they? I think they bought like a factory from over in Russia or something like that. That's going to wind up here in Florida.
Ooh.
Yeah, like they just bought all the machinery, everything. So they're going to be making. They're going to be making some good ammo out here in Florida. Yeah, I think people don't really realize what they're up to. If you, I'm not trying to make you guys look at my videos, but if you go back and look at the podcast with them, I've had them on. Like I've had the CEO on here and everything talking about it. It's really crazy if you think about what they're up to.
Yeah, I need to peek into this a little more, because it sounds like they're doing a lot of fun stuff, and I need to.
They are. Yeah. Yeah, they're really not messing around. They're trying to get into some really game changer type of stuff. So and I think that I'm happy about that because those are real like dyed in the wool gun guys over there. You know, you can tell when you talk to them they're really into this. Versus there's some other companies that I talk to that I just feel it's like executives, trying to
Right.
trying to make that money. They don't really care about the Second Amendment and all the fights and everything involved in it. But those guys are they're pretty serious about what they're doing. So Night Train says checking out the PSA website. They've got some really nice July 4th sales. So there you go. Vin, was there something you were going to say or ask me?
Oh no.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can share my thing here for a second before we go to the break. It like JSD Supply, man. It looks like they've got that MUP. Looks I think it's out there. Looks like they're back selling stuff. I could be wrong. Alex or Van, you guys would know better than me, but it looks like they're back selling that stuff.
Well, it seems that way. I think the ATF dropped their suit or their
Kind of, sort of.
letter.
Yeah,
A
we're gonna take a
stay on
break.
that.
Yeah, we'll be right back. Walther Arms has been making concealed carry handguns for over 90 years, starting with the PPK. Today, Walther is based in the good old US of A and still builds quality firearms like the PPQ and PDP for personal defense and competition. So when you're in the market, please consider Walther Arms. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Walther Arms. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more complicated than they dropped it. So I think that right now the ATF just kind of pulled back, and this is me explaining it. I think John Crump has done a better job talking about this, and other folks out there have done a better job talking about it. I think they've just kind of pulled back everything, and so JSD is like, well, we're just going to go back out there and do this. But I believe that the ATF and the powers that be will revisit that whole thing sometime here in the not too distant future. So, Flying Rich says JSD is 100% back in business. There you go. And he says also the JSD PR trigger in 3 weeks. So what's the PR trigger? Is that the Glock?
Oh, that's probably the pull and reset.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's going to be like their binary Glock trigger, I believe, right? Because I think we shot that at the gathering, right, Vin?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, there you go. Let me see. I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. Let's see what's going on. So, what other parts? I think that was the question that I wanted to ask you guys. What other parts? I think sometimes we talk about this. Maybe we don't talk about it necessarily on the show. Do 3D printing guys not want to talk about parts because it's so tough to get parts, or?
We don't mind talking about parts. It's more of we don't want to let the cat out of the bag on a project that we've got testing or that we in alpha or beta before it's ready for release. Because there's two problems there, and the first is the supply immediately dries up. So anyone trying to get into tests isn't going to be able to get into tests because they won't be able to get the parts. The other problem is it just artificially inflates the price really, really early, and the price prevents people from getting involved in it. So
Okay.
it's there's a finite supply, and I hate to sound dictatorial, but like there's a finite supply, and you have to be able to control it a little bit in order to get your project out of testing into a release, and then out for the people while everything is still at a reasonable price.
Yeah. This is kind of what happens when you're kind of crowdsourcing everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead, Vin.
one thing too with the pricing and such is that there there are people who they hear of a project and they'll go out and they'll buy and scoop everything up. It's actually pretty silly. Or there's even people who will go out there and buy they'll buy a parts kit and they'll like fight to the teeth. I've seen this on Gunbroker. They'll fight to the teeth on like this obscure kit, and they'll say, "Oh well, I'm buying it in hopes that one day that it can be printed." And it's like you're buying it not to dev it. You're buying it to hang on, to hope that there is a print one day.
Mm-hmm.
And someone made this thread on Reddit, and it was a bizarre yet infuriating read. They talked about gambling, but essentially gambling buying parts kits and saying, "Oh, we can just buy all these parts as one set, and maybe one day there'll be a printed model." It's like, well,
it's speculation.
It's
speculation.
Yeah,
speculation. Right. So, like stock market.
Usually when you see someone talk about like projects and stuff, right? Like for example, I was pretty public about my FNX, and the reason why that is because there are no FNX kits. But I have some other things cooking that I don't talk about. It's just that this is a project that that won't be affected by a market. If you see one, you basically grab one immediately. But there's no abundant parts for someone to artificially jump the price, as we've seen beforehand with a previous model. So.
Okay, so without letting the cat out of the bag, I guess the thing I'm trying to get out of you guys here, since we're having this conversation, and then it's going to go out there, and maybe some people in the industry will look at it or listen to it, what parts would you guys like to see more manufactured? So maybe if there was some smaller mom and pop folks out there looking to make things, what would you like to see them make? Let us know. Okay, what are we looking at here?
Glock 17 long slides.
Okay.
Maybe.
There you go. Boom.
There it is.
You're in focus.
Yeah. Glock 17 long slides.
Okay.
We have so many projects for Glocks that you just need. It just doesn't look right without the 17 long barrel. The bullpup Glock for starters.
Right. You've got one there. Show it. Let's show it. Let's see. The bullpup Glock. There you go.
So
looking good.
Iteration like 50 or so. Still working on a couple issues. Still, in fact, I've got other like 3 or 4 more iterations on top of this. I just haven't made it to the printer yet. But yeah, there's and this is a 34 link slide, and it just really needs that 17 with a threaded barrel on the end of it, just to make it look correct.
I see. Right. Okay. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, by the way, so we've got some friends who are working on this stuff, Flying Rich and Babyface P, and that is all through CTRL+Pew for allowing us to do that. So, okay, the Glock 17 long slides you're saying, or Glock 34?
Yep.
Okay.
No, 17 long.
17 long. Okay,
yeah,
is that
they
difficult?
Stopped making, well, they stopped making the 17 long from OEM. So the only people who are making it now are aftermarket people. Okay. And the only reason that you would buy it, aside from something like this, is to make your race gun look cool. And so, like, that's it.
Okay. What would be the market for this? If someone was making these, how many of those could they sell right now?
I don't know. I'd buy the hell out of them. I know...
17 long kits are...
Yeah, most of the devs who were like the Twitter devs would buy them like crazy. Digital Nimbus, Chairman Juan, Booligan too because they all make different types of fun, goofy guns. That would be
that. Okay.
Right, and it would look correct if you just had a 17 long slide on it, but you can it's hard to get them.
Yeah. What were you gonna say there, Vin?
I was just going to say, 17Ls are desired by everyone, even if they're not a dev, so they just sell out instantly. Okay. You go to like Sprinter Precision, they never have them in stock.
Okay. Yeah, so if someone was making 10,000 or whatever, they would be selling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the problem with making them? Why don't more people that have CNC machines, let's say, jump into it? Is it more complicated than that?
No idea.
Okay.
That's a question for someone who knows how to cam for a CNC machine, and I have no idea. I would imagine there's a combination of like the market, how many people would actually want it, because this is sort of an unknown market. The people who buy parts to print guns, it's still being felt out.
When I talk to companies outside of big companies like PSA, if I'm talking to the smaller guys that maybe they've got anywhere from 1 to maybe 4 or 5 CNC machines. I think that's the big risk that they're worried about. Like, okay, if I get all into this, get the plans, figure out how to mill this thing out, am I just going to be sitting on a bunch of these things for no reason? That's kind of the scary thing, right?
Well, that comes down to marketing and price. You know, if you can figure it out and put them on the right, put them in the hands of the right people or in front of the right people at the right price, you won't be sitting on them. But it's a matter of being able to get there, at the right price. It's all a business question. I'm not sure the inner workings of it because I'm not, stock material for metal is the price keeps going up.
Right. Evil SD says, don't you need a 5-axis mill to make a Glock slide? I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anything about that. We would have to talk to a manufacturer to figure out exactly what it takes to do that. And that's a good point.
The most difficult part of making the Glock slide is going to be the square firing pinhole.
Okay.
I don't know, you need to EDM that, but
yeah. Well, that's going to be expensive.
Right.
Something else to consider too is, if I recall correctly, the Glock 34 was made because the 17L wasn't competition. I guess it's not within regulations for competition. So I mean, anyone who'd be buying a 17L, it's probably just for like target plinking and fun, which is probably a smaller market than people who compete. So I can see a business argument for not doing 17Ls in bulk.
Yeah. I think there's got to be a good reason. Otherwise, guys would just be getting the money on it. So for sure, materials is an issue, right? And if you're not buying those a lot of materials, and then the tools and stuff like that is also an issue. I think I've maybe been in maybe 2 or 3 factories that they even have like wire EDM. So I'm not saying it's not out there a lot, but I guess it, you wouldn't find it necessarily in smaller places. So yeah, how expensive even is a piece of kit like that? What so let's say maybe some of these parts are difficult to make. Are there parts and things like that you guys need to build your kits out or build out the prints that are easier to make? Tell me some stuff that's easy to make that you're like, okay, how come people don't make this?
Oh man!
I mean, if there's something easy to make, there's someone making it.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of our development. Go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was asking if you had anything. Sorry.
Yeah, Vin. Yeah, what you got?
A lot of our development is built off of readily available parts and COTS parts, commercially off-the-shelf stuff, right? Regular hardware, and generally existing and plentiful kits. So, really, if there's anyone who wants to jump into making all these specialized parts, a lot of the requests would be parts for like guns that are either 1, unobtainable, or 2, rare, or 3, there's just not enough parts falling in, that are difficult and expensive to make. Those would generally be most of the requests that a lot of devs would ask for. Because if it's common to find, we can just grab it off a store shelf, or if it's commercial off the shelf, we just order off Amazon or something.
Okay. What's go ahead.
An easier way to go about this is, if you're a company already making a gun and you want to expand into the 3D printing market, just put a kit on your site that's everything except the receiver.
You agree with that, Vin?
Oh, absolutely. I know there's a Twitter account that's just begging High Point, and they'll tag High Point once a day. I think it's High Point Goat, was it? And they'll tag High Point once a day. Please release parts kits. Please release parts kits. And I think last Thursday they got everyone to campaign to hey, give them a phone call, and I actually went and I called. They said that they were never going to send out slides, barrels, or sears anyways. And it's like, well, why not consider a 3D printed frame? And it's like, oh, the owner says missing safety features. So I offered. I was like, okay, well, what safety features does one implement it? Is he willing to talk? And she was just like, no.
Yeah.
So
the bigger. Go ahead. I would say the bigger problem is, if they're not making the gun, why are they concerned about safety features?
That's what I'm saying. So
it's no longer their liability. So.
Yeah. Right. So I can say this, and maybe I need to maybe I need to do a show and invite. I've got some friends over at High Point. High Point sponsors the podcast, for example.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we can talk to them, and I believe that I've had this discussion, and you've got to realize that some of this is political, and here's what I mean by that, right? That company is in a position where places like the ATF is already hating on them, and there's already companies out there looking, just looking for a reason to start hitting them. So I think that's some of the liability that they may be worried about, right? Like if we start putting this out there and then our name is attached to this thing going out there. I think also the way they make high points is kind of difficult, because otherwise why wouldn't you just buy a high point and use it more often for parts kits, right? Because it's cheap in the first place. But when you guys are using high points, do you find them difficult to take apart?
No, not especially.
Okay.
It's probably one of the easier guns to take apart, period.
Okay.
It's one pin in the back, and then everything else kind of comes out.
Okay, so it's easy to take it apart and easy to use those parts, right, to make stuff?
Yep.
Yeah, so then doesn't that wind up, because like my I've got a high point, I think a C9 or something like that, and I think I paid like $50-$60 for it.
Right, the correct retail price.
Right, it's used.
Right.
Yeah. So wouldn't that just be easy? I think there's something in there. I'm not trying to defend it or anything for them. I think the good thing to do was actually get them together with you guys and have these discussions, because I agree with what you just said. The better thing here is for the manufacturers to figure out ways to work with you all.
Right.
Invite you guys in, say like, come in. Here's what we make. Figure out a way to make this cool. We'll work with you on that, and then we'll figure out some way we could tell people, hey, you want to do this? But there's something in the middle there that they're scared of, and I don't 100% believe is that they're going to lose money, because I think they would probably make money. They'll make money.
Well, if the gun is at, well, and you think about it, there's already a 10% price hike on the gun at retail because of the government, because it's a firearm, and you don't have to pay that anymore if you don't make the firearm. So
that's true.
You immediately get a 10% discount.
Yeah.
And whether that turns into like to the customer, to the company, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
look,
it's still gonna be under $100.
Some of it could just be that the folks at the companies are scared of the 3D printers, and they're thinking we're gonna lose here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's an entirely fair perspective, and I understand it completely. But the other end of it, if they're not going to answer the market, someone else will. And so that's the, if you're willing to sacrifice that bit of the market to not be involved in whatever politics come out of it, that's okay, that's your choice as a business. I'll respect that. But our friend Low Point Goat on Twitter is still going to harass you every day.
Right. Oh no, I don't think they're mad about the harassment. That only serves as marketing for them.
That's true.
Right. I think at the end of the day, I mean, look at High Point for example of what they've done. I mean, this new yeet cannon is coming out of people harassing them for stuff. It's taking some time for them to get it out there. That's all like industry behind the scenes stuff, right? They're making molds. They've got to do all these things before they invest in that. They want to be sure. And also, you got to get like every little, make sure you get all the money out of what you've already made as well. I've seen that in the car world. I've seen that, for example, 4Runner. I've had a Toyota 4Runner. It's the same Toyota 4Runner they've been making for the last 20 years. They're just stamping it out and making money, and people are like, oh, when are they going to make a new one? I don't think they ever will. And why would you if you could just keep making money out of it? So there's some weird stuff like that going on. But I really think if they came up to speed and like sat down and talked to you guys and figured out ways that they can do things here, it can really only enhance business going forward. Because let's put it in the most blunt way. The old dudes that are not into 3D printing are dying off every day.
Yep.
The younger people that are into all of this are being born every day. Right?
Boomers die, which is why estate sales are my favorite place to be.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm one of the old dudes, so I'm not wishing that on, I'm not wishing that on anyone. But you really have to think forward. If you want to be successful and you want to have your company around forever, you've got to think forward from what you're doing, and open up a little bit to folks like yourselves.
Yeah, I'll put this out here because I've said this before, but
Mm-hmm.
my DMs are open. High Point has my phone number. They have all my contact information. I did version 1 of the Low Point years ago. If you want to sit down and have a primer on 3D printing, even if it doesn't turn into you putting kits on the market, give me a shout. I'm
Yeah.
happy to walk you through everything. I've got printers coming out of every corner of the world. I actually don't have any in my office at the moment.
Yeah.
But
You know what? I'll
yeah.
make a show. I'll try to make a show because I have Dave from High Point. They sponsor this podcast and he comes on from time to time. Maybe we need to all sit down and plan a show and you guys bring some High Point builds on and and do some stuff around it and at least start talking about it. Open up negotiations.
I guess this is a good time for a spoiler. I'm working on a 995.
Okay.
So the High Point carbine.
Ah.
995, 4095, and 4595.
Interesting. Can we see anything, or that's as much as we're gonna...
I have a couple printed, but they're not in the room.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll start posting on Twitter in the next couple weeks.
I mean, you could just walk out of the room for a second.
I know, I could. I don't even know where they are though. That's the other problem.
We'll show Vin's guns for a second, and then no. Okay, listen. Go ahead.
The problem is I don't know where they are.
Yeah.
All
right.
They're in one of the boxes in this corner, or like in the next room in one of the other dozen boxes.
We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like High Point Firearms and Full Forge Gear, bags and gear for everyday life. Did you know High Point is an American family-owned and operated company located in Ohio with over 30 years of manufacturing experience? High Point is proud to be the home of the working man's gun and your source for affordable handguns and carbines with a lifetime warranty. So when you're in the market, please consider High Point.
Yes. So, listen, the big point that I'm trying to make here, and I'm trying to... Oh, hold on. Let me figure out this arrangement. Yeah, the big point I'm trying to make here is that I would like to see more companies working with you guys. Now, you're going to probably have a better shot with the smaller companies. Believe it or not, High Point sells a lot of guns, man. There's a lot of High Points out there.
I believe it.
Yeah, so they're probably making and selling the most handguns. If we want to talk about things, they're probably doing that.
Price is a huge driver of sales, man. That's
yeah. So
I think that was one factor. Go ahead.
No, hit it. Go for it.
I think that was one factor how the Low Point got so popular, right? Was that the kits were abundant and that they were incredibly cheap at the time. I think like $30.
I wouldn't say the kits were abundant, but the community was still really small. This was at the beginning of our massive growth period in like 2017, 2018.
Okay, so
when we started talking about the High Point.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google. So just Google High Point, Low Point. How do I find?
Just go Low Point, I think.
Low Point. Okay, hold on. I'll just put Low Point gun. Low Point gun. Let's see if anything comes up.
2020, 2019.
Is this it right here?
November.
Introducing the Low Point. Okay, by CTRL+Pew. Boom. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Although this was like a year after the Low Point had come out, because this was released under my previous handle.
Okay.
So it would have been like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Someone made a Girls Frontline OC of it.
Oh, jeez.
What is that? You're gonna have to explain that to the old guy.
Oh my gosh! So Girls Frontline is this mobile gacha game. Gacha is like a gambling game where you buy like a blind box of stuff. But in this case, you're buying a collection of PNGs, like pictures, to play in the game, and they basically anthropomorphize firearms into like these like cute girls.
Oh.
And I'm looking on Commando Blogs' page, and someone did a commission of nothing
Give
you
me
can't.
a link.
Yeah, let me
Put
send
a
you a
link
link.
in the chat. I'll put it up.
Yeah. Either that or you could send it to me, whichever is easier to do, and I could throw it up here.
Send it in our chat.
Yeah, and by the way, both of these guys are on Utreon, so I just want to remind everyone: CTRL+Pew is on Utreon, also Vinh is on Utreon, and if right now, actually, if anyone gives any money, it's going to go to these two equally. It's going to be shared, and I think they deserve it. They need, they need the funds here to keep more 3D printing stuff going. So, and 802 Pew says they're furry firearms too. Oh goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
There are surprisingly a lot of furries in the printed gun community.
No.
Yeah, that's a whole intersection of guns that I did not see coming when I got started in this.
It's interesting. It's interesting. 42 Chill said, and Taurus. Yeah, I think, listen, we've got to work on it. It's a doable thing. And I think it just takes time. I think some of these companies need to realize what's going on. And, I'm kind of like reluctant to talk about the companies necessarily here because I don't know if they want people to know about this. But when we were at the gathering, Vin, there were companies there that were very open and accepting to you guys, right?
I'd say individuals were very receptive. And a lot of the individuals we saw at the gathering had expressed, and they basically said, they're happy with what we're doing. It's just that they had to, like put the company logo away when they said it, like off the record. So I do think we have a lot of followers and a lot of interest within the people who work in the gun industry. Though I think the executives, being all businessy folk and stuff, they try to stay away from something as challenging and radical and just different as like 3D printing.
Yeah, I think it might be the liability of it or the political side of it with other companies out there becoming activists and going after them. Maybe. I don't want to make excuses for them, but I kind of get it. By the way, folks are giving some money that's going to you. There you go. Edward Brower gave $5.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, he's from Utreon. Armament and Axes gave $5, and Asper Warrior. He says, "I'm gonna get in trouble with my wife for this, but I gotta support the movement. I'm so excited about this stuff right now." So boom, there you go. Big thanks to all those folks for doing that out there. I appreciate it. And these guys, the money will go right to these guys. They don't even have to try to get it from me, which it wouldn't happen. If that was the case.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you know what? We just have to keep working on it. I think it's one of these things that it just takes time, and sometimes you have to go through, like, intermediary ways, or, like I was saying, work with some of the smaller companies. You guys should start, so, for example, have you heard of Safety Harbor Firearms? That's another company that sponsors the show, but I've known Walter, who owns Safety Harbor Firearms, for years and years. We do a lot of different stuff together. Even at one point we were gonna like crowd build a gun. I remember that somewhere, if you look in the archives of my videos, we were talking about like designing a gun and putting all the stuff out there, and then people could just go make their own stuff, and maybe he was going to make some of the parts of it. So I know he's open to that, and they make the SHTF 50, which is a bolt action 50 BMG upper that you could put on an AR-15 lower. I don't know if you guys have heard of that.
I have. Didn't the ATF do something dumb that say that the upper is the receiver?
Yes, they're making him serialize both the upper and so he doesn't always make the lowers because you can buy the complete gun from him. But yeah, they're trying to force them to serialize the uppers, which that's a whole thing. And right now, that's what they're doing. They're just serializing them because it's very expensive to fight the ATF when they're using your money against you. But yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking on their site here. So they say BATF has determined our SHTF 50 upper assemblies constitutes the receiver of a firearm. So if you put an AR lower together with the upper of the SHTF 50, do you technically have two firearms or one firearm? That's a curious question.
It's a good question. I know that Matthew Larossiere was actually on with Walter, and we had this conversation. It's really bullshit that they're doing this, and definitely people need to push back against this kind of stuff. And I'm not trying to tell you guys that's not happening, but yeah, man, there's just a lot of stupid shit like this happening with the ATF. They're also not making anyone else do that. And I'm not trying to say they should be. They shouldn't be doing this in the first place. They really shouldn't be doing it. So, but yeah, if anyone wanted to venture into that, I'm not trying to push you guys into doing that. But if there's a company that I know and I could somehow help you guys out or be the bridge, or we make something cool and then we show them, hey, these guys can do this cool stuff, I think that's a good way to at least get the ball rolling. A lot of times their lawyers are going to tell them to be very careful of liability, though, when it comes to these things, right? Look at what's happening to Daniel Defense, man, from this, after this school shooting in Uvalde. Daniel Defense is getting sued, and they're
getting the Remington treatment.
Yeah, they've gone very low key. They they don't want anyone to talk about this or bring this up. But yeah, they've already been named in lawsuits, and because of what the Freedom Group, well, I don't think it was the companies that got broken up there, but there was definitely some insurance money that was set aside, and the lawyers decided to settle, right? That suit that was out there with the Freedom Group. That's a bad precedent, and now there's going to be more of that going out there. So unfortunately, that's what we're facing here, unless we do something to help these guys out. So I don't know if you guys want to respond to that. I do have another some more money came in here from 802.
I don't even appreciate you, 802. No, yeah. I don't even know where to respond to that. That's like
yeah. He says Pew and Vin, what are your takes on privacy in the 3D gun community? How about DRM being included with the file security and identification? Who are the big players pushing for this stuff? So there you go. Is that the question you're saying you don't know how to respond to, or?
No, it was the Freedom Group lawsuit.
Oh, the Freedom Group. Okay, you can do both of those. Yeah.
Well, so the lawsuit is bad because they settled. They didn't see it all the way through. It would have been more expensive, I'm sure, but it would have at least, because settling doesn't set a precedent, like from a legal standard, as far as I'm aware. So it's still entirely unknown, how that would have come out in the end. And given the way that companies work anymore, I don't think this lawsuit is going to be seen through all the way either. They just tend to settle and be done with it. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's a bit weird.
I think I don't mean like a legal precedent in it. I just think that it's a bad thing that they did it.
It's a bad track record. Yeah.
Yeah. However, those folks are not gun people, so the people behind that who settled are not gun people. They're just lawyers for that, whatever, that money that was set aside. They had to, they had to get paid. So if you get paid, you gotta, you've got to do something, which is settle, and then get your money.
This is why when the time comes, lawyers should be first.
Not all the lawyers, but definitely some.
Yeah,
you mean practically?
There's definitely going to be an order under lawyer. But anyway.
Yeah. We are joking. We are joking. Yeah, we've all got friends who are lawyers. Like when someone says something racist, and they're like, I got black friends.
Right.
Yeah. Go ahead.
One of my best friends is a lawyer, and I tell him
exactly.
all the time, like every day.
Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He'd probably be the first one trying to take out lawyers, too.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Vin, go for it.
I think the lawsuits against gun manufacturers is kind of a flawed approach. Because to my understanding, when you sue a company for something, you're suing for a defect with the product that killed something, right? So, for example, like a car, like if Ford released a car that was known to have like this defect, and they knew about it and they killed people, and then I think getting sued in that case is pretty reasonable. But in this case, making something and then getting sued for that when the tool was abused, versus if the tool had a known flaw, I think that's a really scary precedent to venture into.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with you. Okay, how and there is law to actually protect the firearms industry from such things. But yes, it's not. You're talking logic, right? It doesn't make if I'm getting fat, it doesn't make sense for me to sue the people that make the spoons, or sue McDonald's or whatever it is because I'm getting fat. But we're living in a time where the president is calling for this. The left is calling for this. They're calling for suing companies in the firearms industry out of existence. This is what they're calling for. This, we can look it up and you'll see. They say it over and over again. Biden said it in his last speech.
Can we sue the government for all the people that they kill?
People have tried. They've tried and died.
I think there's something called qualified immunity.
Yeah,
should be thrown out too.
right. It does not make sense, but it's where these guys are going, and it's what will destroy industry. And not just the gun industry. And then also, what happens when the firearms manufacturers go out of business? The government can't keep them in business, so they're not going to have access to guns or ammo or anything else. They won't have it either. Obviously, they don't seem to care.
They'll have to buy them from HK in Germany like everyone else.
Yeah, well, I guess there are companies that think they're going to survive through this, no matter what. But yeah, it's a dangerous thing that we're going into with that. And then I think there was the other question from 802 Pews, and then I see he gave some more money. Let's see, what is this one? He says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely is it Vin would give mustache rides? Oh my god.
7.5, and that is you can't quote me on this. That is legally binding.
Vin, you don't know what mustache rides are?
I don't think I want to know.
You should Google it real quick.
Yeah.
No, I'm okay.
I'm not getting into it. I'm gonna say the chances are low.
Yeah.
Vin, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
-1.
Yeah. Oh, you're not even gonna say it depends? Are you married,
No,
Vin?
I have
Are you
no
married?
idea what. No, I'm not.
You're not married. Okay.
No.
All right. There you go. Some people's answer might have been it depends, but
No,
you gotta look it up, Vin. If you don't know what it is, I don't want to be the one to spoil your innocence.
Okay, all right, never mind. I don't want to destroy what's left of my innocence. So,
and then what about the other question that 802 Pews asked? He said, "How about DRM being included within the files for security and identification? Who are the big players pushing for this stuff?"
Well, I had an argument with Pincus about this a long time ago, because one of his first statements when he was starting to 3D print guns was, maybe we could get gun companies to release their CAD for their frames, and they could DRM it and license it to people. I'm like, well, they can already do that, but oh my god, I hate you because you mentioned DRM and its flawed implementation. Because it's every time DRM has ever been introduced, it's always been a flawed implementation that's failed almost immediately, and so it's going to here too, and it's going to be legally binding. So somebody's going to download something and they're going to put it on their Google Drive, and then their Google Drive is going to get hacked, and someone else is going to upload that file to somewhere else on the internet, and then that original person is going to go to court because someone downloaded that gun in New York.
Yeah. For all we know, Pincus is 802 Pews. We don't know. We have no clue. Yeah. We don't have any idea of what's going on there. Vin, what's your answer to that?
So, buckle up, because he asked 3 questions in there. He asked take some privacy in the print gun community. And he asked about DRM and who's the big players. So I actually finished giving a talk. We touched on this quite a bit at my Dartmouth College talk a month ago. And there is a disturbing rise in a minority of people in the do-it-yourself gun space who want to take away the option of privacy and anonymity, because they think that the curious and the middle ground anti-gun people are going to say, oh, why are you private? What do you have to hide, right? But they forget the fact that people who opt for privacy and anonymity, they either one, it's a necessity for them,
Mm-hmm.
or two, they just because they don't have anything to hide doesn't mean they have anything to show.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
for example, I'm a fairly open book, right? You can ask me any question on Twitter, and I'll most likely answer it, right? But that doesn't mean I want to lay out all my text messages for everyone to see. And that also doesn't mean that I want to decide for those around me what I reveal by publishing text messages. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when someone says
Because you
when
don't
someone
have
says,
something to hide doesn't mean you want to disclose all your stuff either.
right, so
Yeah.
I mean, so when someone says, "Oh, there's no reason for anonymity," anonymity is a. I remember when someone in the print gun community said this. They said anonymity is a disservice. It's like, well, if anonymity is a disservice to the gun community, then
Who said
there are
that?
many. It's someone I'm not going to name their name out of charity.
Okay.
When they said that, I
Understood.
was very very upset because a lot of our great designs have come from people who are anonymous or pseudo anonymous. And so to say, well, anonymity hasn't done anything for a community, well, anonymity created a social context of where we could have all these designs come out because these developers, these people felt safe to take charge of their, privacy and security to publish these designs without, being outed or canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
when someone says, they're against privacy and anonymity, I'm immediately suspect of their motives.
Yeah, I think that's outside of guns. I mean, that's in everything in life. Human beings are entitled to privacy unless they decide, hey, I want to, put my business out there for lots of different reasons, right? And some of us
Right.
decide, hey, we're gonna put our stuff out there, or some of us want different levels of privacy and all that. But yeah, there's a lot of different reasons why folks out there would want to be private in what they're doing or anonymous, and yeah, we should just give them, allow them to do that.
Right. If you remember the early days of the internet, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of it was
Mm-hmm.
pseudo anonymous and private.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, it's only in recent times, like mid to late 2010s, that you had to start signing in everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, you can't go online without signing in everywhere.
Yeah.
You look at like a Google image search, every picture is like a Pinterest link, and Pinterest makes you sign in.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, and that's because it's big money now. It's big money.
hmm,
It's big money in this thing now. They need to market stuff. By the way, 802 Pews got mad that I said he could possibly be Pincus. So I apologize. I apologize for that.
Well, that is exactly what Pincus would say.
I'm not.
oh yeah, that's
I
that's
guess.
totally
Yeah.
totally a Pinkus statement to like see
Right.
what the response would be. And on
Yeah.
that topic too of
Mm-hmm.
DRM, this
Mm-hmm.
is a free and open source community. It's based off of software principles of free
Mm-hmm.
and open source software, free as in liberty. To say that you want to put DRM on it is kind of, I don't know how to say it. It means when you say you want DRM in the FOSS community, it means you're not reading the room. You're not. You don't know this community you're trying to appeal or market to.
Yeah.
It just
It's
means you're
yeah.
detached.
I agree with you. It's almost like if you're someone who believes in smart guns and you try to tell a bunch of gun guys that. So try that out and see what happens.
Yeah.
you know, we'll see. Oh, speaking of, is this a good segue? I don't know. Oh, we should have actually
so.
Yeah, we should have actually gone to the next topic. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's take this break.
With Armslist, you can shop the extensive list of local and nationwide firearms classified, now with more confidence because of their built-in firewall. For only $6.99 a month for personal use, or $30 a month for business vendors, so when you're in the market, please consider Armslist. We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of great companies like Armslist.
Yeah, speaking of smart guns, should we
Let's see it.
All right. I'll fish
should we
it out.
drop? Yeah. Come on.
So if you've been in the gun community for a while, you probably know what this is. Guess what it is. It's an Armatics IP1,
Mhm.
and it is let me get this case open.
So this is the real deal that you have here, huh?
Yeah. This
So-
is the first generation smart gun
All
with
right.
the watch.
Okay. You know, right now there's lots of boos and hissing and stuff getting thrown at the screen right now. Go ahead. Uh,
Well, before you get all upset, I have it as an engineering sample, as a as a reference.
uh-huh.
It's a collector's item where
Well,
it's
yeah, that
yeah.
I'm 100% in on that. That is a collector's item for gun guys. Although a lot of gun guys despise them, it's still a gun. It's still. How many of
Right.
them did they ever make of these things?
I don't know actually. But I've seen at least 6 go on sale on Gunbroker within a year.
Hmm.
So I
What?
bought one. I know 4 other have sold, and I know 2 other people who've bought them.
Okay, what
So I
kind of
know that
money are we
at least
talking? Okay, Control
um,
Pew says he
400
has one.
$400.
$400. And
Yep.
these are these coming from the company or are these secondhand? Is this company
No,
still
these
in
are
business?
all everything. The company's out
hmm.
of business.
Okay.
They're all secondhand,
Okay.
and they're all coming out of private collections.
Okay, so give us the history of this gun. Is it based on another gun? What's the deal?
It's made in Germany. It's built from the ground up. Um, it's also easily defeated. You can hold a magnet next to a slide, and the gun will fire
Mm-hmm.
because the firing pin block is magnetically actuated.
Mm-hmm.
So the smart stuff basically controls whether that firing pin block is on or off.
Mm-hmm.
The how do I say it? The person who sells it, these are all coming out private estate sales and stuff. The person who sold it, and someone made this comment in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have the personal pleasure of tormenting them and asking, "What's a money order?" Because all they would take on Gunbroker is money order, and so I know what a money order is. I'm just being
Mm-hmm.
snide and asking money order.
Uh-huh.
Get with the
Yeah.
times. Take credit cards.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's interesting that even so they're still out there and they're selling for $400. Is that because no one wants them even though
Well, there's like
Uh,
one every 2 or 3 months that will
Okay.
show
yeah.
up for
Okay.
$400.
Okay. So how many of these guns were ever made?
I think that would probably be like, well, you probably send a letter to the ATF and ask how many of these have been imported, because they're
Hmm.
all imported from Germany.
Okay. So these are selling over in Germany. People actually my only experience with this is in that James Bond which James Bond movie was it where he had a smart gun? I would have to Google it right now. It's one of I was looking at it recently. It's like one of the Daniel Craig uh, James Bond movies
Of
that
course, it would have to be a new one.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, there was like the new Q gives him this stupid smart gun that is fingerprint readable. So stupid.
Oh,
It
it's
just
just a
made me
dressed up PPK.
it just made me mad because basically Q gives him this PPK and says, "Oh yeah, it's got your fingerprint stored in there." Okay, so you're a spy. You have your fingerprint stored in the gun. That's not gonna. I don't know how that's clandestine. I'm not sure what spies are rolling around out there. It's just like when you see in these movies, there's someone using depleted uranium in for their Glock bullets.
Mhm.
It's like, why? you know, what what
Mm.
are we what are we actually doing? So,
It's
mm-hmm.
just Hollywood trying to be Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
so that in 20 years someone thinks it's actually fact and they get interested in guns. That's fine.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah,
Hollywood's there for. But
right.
I was just amused. I couldn't find a number, but I'm just amused by this one line from an article that said it had the worst double action trigger we've ever tested, and they criticized the pistol's price of $1,798.
Wow. Wow. And now it's down to $400. I'm thinking
Yep.
I should. Okay, so show us more of this gun. What is it? So it's not built off of anything. It's a completely unique gun on its own, Vin.
Right. It's basically a
I mean,
22 LR pistol.
yeah.
Oh,
How
it's
many ways can
22?
you do a blowback
Yep.
22?
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
Blowback.
Okay.
Has a single double action into rimfire, so I'm not going to dry fire it. I
Hmm.
actually had a pawnbroker that was appraising it. She didn't know what she was holding, and she just pulled the trigger repeatedly, and I almost lost my mind on her. Um,
Yeah.
it was very upsetting.
Yeah, I could
I had
imagine.
a paddle release for the magazine. So
Mm-hmm.
German style paddle release for
Mm-hmm.
letting the mag drop right here. I mean, it's just it's a simple 22 blowback. It's made basically to demonstrate the smart gun capability. And
Where's the reader? Where's the fingerprint reader? Or no, it's not a fingerprint reader. It's the magnetic thing, right? The wrist.
It's a watch.
The wrist thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
When
so
the
that
gun is near
pairs
the
with
watch.
a watch
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to do your security code.
Oh, okay. So that watch is still working and doing it?
Yes, I took the battery out because it's not in use, obviously.
Oh, yeah. If I
But,
knew you were going to do this, I'll tell you get some snap caps and throw some snap caps up in there.
Yeah, or some
So
live
we-
rounds, whatever.
Yeah. No, not live rounds. Yeah. No desk popping for Vin.
If you hold the gun, there's a little LED that pops up, tells you the status of the gun, whether it's unlocked or not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easily defeated if you hold a magnet to the side, just deactivates the firing pin block.
Mm-hmm.
It's also not reliable to shoot too. Even if you have the gun unlocked, the hammer, it's so, how do I say, so inconsistent that when it drops, it's not a guarantee it'll fire. You have to pull the trigger again. And I suspect that the hammer doesn't have long to live too, because it's very, very thin towards the axle of it. So I suspect that this probably being a cast part will probably break down there at some point. So I also wouldn't fire it even if I did got it to work, because it's so obscure that you're not finding replacement parts for this.
Yeah. I think this is a collector's piece. You know, why did you buy one, Alex? Tell us why you got one of these.
Well, Vin had one, and I wanted one because he kept showing it to me and bragging. And then Matt bought one, and so now he's bragging to me about, hey, look at this weird gun I have. And I really have this deep passion for stupid, old, idiotic guns.
Yeah.
And
I have a Zip 22. You know the Zip
Right.
22? I have one of those, yeah.
Yeah, yep. But no, it checked every box for me. I'm like, oh, I need this in my life.
Yeah.
And so there's finally one on Gunbroker, and I threw some money at it. I was like, all right.
Yeah.
That's
Wouldn't
not
it be
unreasonable.
funny if all of a sudden now the gun guys start a thing? It's so weird, this story, that this gun came out, it was that expensive, people didn't really buy it, and now it's out there on Gunbroker with inflation and all the things going on. It's the one gun selling way under market.
Right?
It's because no one knows to look for it, and also it appears so rarely that when you look for it most of the time, you don't see it.
Yeah. Except we messed that up now.
Yeah.
It's rare, obscure, and bad, and so most people are gonna be like, "Nah, I'm gonna buy that AUG or something."
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I think a lot of gun guys would be embarrassed to show their friends. You guys are truly brave. Yeah. A lot of gun
we like
guys.
what we like.
Yeah, I think it has a novelty to it. Let me not forget this. 802 Pews gave $5. Here, I'm gonna read what he said here. Let's see if we can throw this up here. He says, "I've got 20 for whichever of you tricks Vin into looking at what mustache rides are." So there you go. You know, I think, Vin, for the sake of the people, you've got to go and look up mustache rides. I just want to see your reaction. We might go viral. If you Google right now mustache rides, okay, and we get your reaction, it might, that might take us to another level, man. It might overcome the shadow ban, everything that we're facing right now. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
All right.
Do
See here.
Mustache rides. You really don't know what mustache rides are?
I do not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go.
Oh no. Let me also
I prefer the term goatee excursion to mustache ride.
Are you finding out what it is? Read it to us, Vin. Read it to us.
I'm okay. Your viewers can find out by themselves.
Edward Brower says it's exactly what it sounds like. From the reaction of Vince, look at Vince's face. He's like,
disgusting.
I've got to whitewash my brain now.
Vin's gonna drink heavily tonight. Forget that.
Oh boy. Listen, every man and some of the ladies out there have all given mustache rides. Lola is right now going looking for her phone to text me.
I'm surprised she didn't throw anything at you.
No, she's not in the van. She's not Lola.
Oh.
I do this in the van so Lola isn't
Nice.
trying to tell me what to do all the time.
Nice.
That's why, yeah. Lola's in the house. I'm in the van. So, yeah. Are you okay, Vin? Did we mess you up?
No, I'm good.
There you go. All right. So there you go.
I think secretly he knew. He just wanted to play innocent for us.
Yeah. Come on, Vin.
I legitimately did not know.
This is a move, Vin, that should be in your toolbox.
Nah.
Am I wrong, Alex? Am I wrong?
No, you should always be ready to pull this one out. It should be like right next to the pliers.
Yeah. It should. Every dude should have this.
Screwdrivers.
Yeah.
Right. It's screwdrivers, your 1/4-inch bits for various screwdriver tips, right? Your pliers, your little flush cutters that come with all the 3D printers, and then mustache rides.
Someone said if you could ride a motorcycle, you could ride a mustache, something to that effect. Listen, yeah, every dude should have this somewhere in it, in the thing. Sometimes you gotta put on a fake mustache, you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay.
Get the fake mustache with the fake nose and the spectacles.
Oh, yeah, we're on another level now.
Right. You just gotta up your game.
Yeah, what's that movie with Tom Cruise where they were doing all kinds of freaky stuff? Something about Sight. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a weird Tom Cruise movie out there where there's like a secret sex cult. No one. What is that?
That
movie?
just sounds like Hollywood.
Yeah, this just sounds like reality.
Yeah.
There's a weird Tom Cruise movie out there. Let me see. Now I've got to go back. Someone is gonna say it here. It's from the early zeros, so I'm going.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Eyes Wide Shut. There you go. Eyes Wide Shut. You've never seen that?
Nope.
It's got Nicole Kidman up in there. Oh. Okay, Vin, you got more research to do. This is Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise early in the contract with Nicole Kidman. You gotta check that out. Eyes Wide Shut from Edward Brower. There you go. Brian Quick says it's a Stanley Kubrick movie. Man, I thought you guys were nerds.
Yeah, we are. We're just not like.
What the hell
Tom
is wrong
Cruise
with the
movie
young nerds nowadays, man? Every nerd should know all the movies that have boobies in it.
And
this
has distracted me. Also, we have the internet, so we don't need to scour the movies. We just have all of the boobs.
This is how the internet has ruined civilization. Because in my time, you had to know the movies with boobies in it. Now you could just go Google it. You don't even have to. Yeah.
You have to Google. Just go Pornhub.com and it's there. It's everything you ever need.
Asper Warrior says it's
Twitter,
not worth it. Yeah, we'll get into guns. Okay, so what were you just showing there, Alex? What was that gun? It looks pink. That's what I know.
Yeah, it's a Glock 26 with a weird looking, or a Glock 19 with a weird looking barrel. This one's in 22 TCM. So I went and found a conversion kit. I've got some 22 TCM in the mail. We're gonna give it a test and see how it works.
Show us what else you have on the table. Come on, man. We got you here. We got to take some stuff off the table.
Yeah. So you saw the bullpup Glock earlier. Another revision.
Yeah. So what's up with the I don't know what we're calling that. The stock, I guess, or
the brace.
The brace. Yeah. What's up with the brace on this? Is that all 3D?
No, this is just an SP Tactical, something that I picked up.
Okay.
From them. There are several printable braces out there. I'm going to work on one for this specifically.
Right. I think Rich has one that has some kind of hardware. Okay.
But yeah. So bullpup block, it should be coming out of alpha into its beta. I want to say towards the end of the month. Still doing some refining on the overall everything and getting it to fit together a little nicer than it has been.
Okay. So are you getting it? Are you getting that to work well? Is it is it consistent?
We're improving dramatically.
Okay.
There were some problems with the trigger. It doesn't like to work with like the Polymer 80 trigger packs. You really need an OEM Glock one. So we're working on expanding that out, massaging it around, and getting all the geometry right. But
Okay.
it's a little bit
Cool.
further to go, not a whole lot further, and then it'll be out for everyone to enjoy with their hopefully newly manufactured aftermarket Glock 17 long slides.
Yes. We'll work on that. We'll work on making it happen. And by the way, let me just read this from Asper Warrior. He says, CTRL+Pew's shoulder thing that goes up was my first print last week. So there you go. I don't know what that was,
Nice.
but yeah.
It was it's a brace that has the shoulder thing flips up and down on it. Yeah. It was God, I should take another pass at that or clean it up a little because I haven't touched in a while.
So what is this?
This is the Tac Daddy, currently in beta.
Oh, that looks good.
Yeah, this is a.
Hold that up a little. Yeah, hold it up a little higher so we could see. You're gonna have to make. This is gonna be probably the thumbnail. So let's. You gotta get your face in there. There you go.
Happy now? You got it?
Yeah, so, nice.
Yeah, Tac Daddy, this one's version 42. I've been playing with my laser, so I've been lasering these and serialing them because I'm special like that. But yeah, Tac Daddy version 43 is in beta right now, being tested by the group. 9mm pistol caliber something. Well, pistol actually. This one's a pistol.
So this looks a lot like a Sten. What's
close?
Okay.
We're using the sort of the internals from the TAC 9. So the company Sol Invictus updated the Tech 9 for 2022 with AR fire controls and other parts, and then we've.
Oh, okay. Oh, what happened there? Did I lose these guys?
Did that into a freighter.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
We're making some progress for this. Take Glock mags, all the usual stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
no, I think we froze there for a second, but I think we're still good. Yeah. What was that last part you said?
Yeah. It takes it's a 9mm pistol thing. Takes Glock mags as usual. Working on adapting it for other stuff. Yeah. Currently in beta. Should be coming out relatively soon.
Yes, and so Vin, hold on, let's show Vin's here. Vin went for
Vin's
the
got one.
hot pink.
Yeah. Hot pink.
Like salmon. It's more like salmon red.
Yeah, it is like a salmon. Yeah. No, that's
actually,
cool.
I got finished jumping this over the weekend. I mean, it shoots really.
Wait, I'm gonna try to get both of you. Both of you somehow try to point at it. Yeah, you stay where you are, Vin. Now you've got to go more flat, Alex, and point in Vin's. There you go. There you go.
Wow, Alex, you do that to me? Okay, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hold on, move your muzzle down to about the center of your camera.
Go down a little with your muzzle, Vin, down.
Yeah. Down. There we go. Yeah. We're touching tips. Virtually.
Yeah.
Shit we do on YouTube.
That Vin is totally
Utreon.
fine doing. Yeah, Vin is fine doing that. Mustache rides, no.
Yeah, no. Mustache rides are out, but touching tip all over.
Yeah, that's not disgusting at all. 802 says, "Oh, that's so cute. The boys are touching tips." There you go.
Should I show the chat the picture?
Yes, go ahead. go
all right.
Oh.
So yeah, this was from I think 2019 or 2018.
Yeah, but Alex, why are you the only one that looks happy?
Well, I was the only one not scared. It's like I've done this before or something.
Yeah, Matt looks disgusted. Matt looks disgusted. Vin looks scared. And Alex is like,
We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of a DAO, or decentralized autonomous organization like TUSC Crypto. TUSC cryptocurrency is a firearm-friendly e-commerce option for online payment transactions, secured on the blockchain. So when you're in the crypto market, please consider TUSC, TUSC.
Yeah, by the way, I wanted to remind everyone to check out Matt Larossiere. Floodbusters, he has a good video reading the Supreme Court decision on the New York Pistol Rifle Club thing. So yeah, I thought that was good. I watched that whole thing. It was funny looking at that in the beginning. He had no audio. Just looking at him trying to figure out the audio thing. Yeah.
I missed it. I caught him on Discord doing the stream.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. What else do you have some other stuff, Alex? What else you got there to show us?
Nothing I can show you. We've got some secret stuff coming up, along with the new company that I'm working with down here in the Grand Orange state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
So more, I'll be talking about that later. But for now, I can't say anything about it right now.
Okay.
The 995, the 4095, and the 4595 high point carbines. Again, teasing that early alpha project just for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
That'll hit beta probably 2 months from now.
Okay.
And then public release as soon as it's ready after that. So.
Okay. I think I need to take a look at this. See what's going on there. See if I can. You're saying it's going to come out to beta in 2 months?
Thereabout, yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
So in 2 months, I'll be through the alpha. It'll be reliably firing, and it'll have most of the ergonomics done, and then I'll hand it off to the beta team for their feedback and testing. And if they want to make, or if they have any suggestions for improvements, and then it'll be out.
Okay.
And we'll have another reason to harass High Point.
Right. And so, do you guys ever build anything off of? We were talking about. I know you said that was the high tech. Do you ever Tech 9, not high tech? Do you ever do anything off Sten guns?
We have played with it a little bit. The biggest problem with Sten guns is that all of the the bolt, the fire control group, they're all still fully automatic, and it's a fixed firing pin. So until we figure out how to make a passable open bolt semi-auto fire control group, or figure out some way to easily convert those full auto parts to semi-auto parts, it's those are the two hurdles before we can dive into Stens.
You need a company to make one that can't go. I don't know. That's got to be possible, right? If a company made one, because Walther actually also owns StemParts.com.
Yeah, I've bought a couple things from him. I was working on a Sten a long time ago. Yeah.
So I think he was talking to Matt about this when they were on, because they got into like a whole kerfuffle of whether or not you know the whole open bolt thing.
Right.
Yeah. Don't bring that up to Matt.
Oh no, I know Matt's whole argument on that.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Yeah.
Right.
I think there's a Floodbusters video on it.
Yeah.
Was he did one before that, right? Or after they had this conversation?
I think it was before that. I think he's had one up for a while.
Yeah.
So let's first bids.
Yeah, let's see what Vin has. Let's go to Vin now. Get Vin to. Come on, what you got? I know you got some stuff.
I got a Glock 44 with printed rails. This is more of an experimental.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. How is that?
Project. It's pretty good. Okay. This is the one of the latest projects that me and AV's Rails is working on. It's basically a updated spec for the Gen 4 and Gen 5 Glock parts. So, I mean, that's the next batch of Glock stuff that hasn't been made. Basically hasn't been, I guess, targeted yet. So I mean, once these models get released and the rails get sold, I mean, then you'll have another family of Glock parts to come back into use. Although cool. I don't see Gen 3 stuff going away soon now that everyone's making Gen 3 stuff now, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Much to Glock's disappointment, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah, Glock is probably going to be like...
Yeah, Glock is sitting somewhere wishing they could sue someone. Glock was really... Have you guys ever looked into the history of Glock?
Yeah, they're Austrian, right?
No, I'm just talking. No, but Glock. First of all, Glock like to sue people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you even mention their name, they would sue. Oh, did this happen to you?
I've gotten their letters.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got upset about my logo,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess I understand. Something about trade dress. So
Mm-hmm.
anything that looks like a Glock is, I guess, infringing on their trademark or something. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Hmm.
They are very very litigious, but also if you look in their history, like someone tried to kill or kidnap or both. What's his name? The Glock. What's his name again?
Gaston Glock.
Yeah, Gaston Glock. Yeah, he survived like an assassination attempt and all kinds of stuff. Man, they've got a very. Someone's gonna make a movie about that at some point.
Mm.
Yeah, very
Very
interesting.
colorful life.
Yeah, very interesting life that those of what those guys get up to. So, all right, what else do you have? Do you have something else cool here that we haven't seen?
I got my FNX9.
Okay.
Let's see if I got some
What's
stuff over here on the.
what's the story
Right.
with the FNX? What's the? I think you were talking about
Uh,
this earlier.
yeah, I basically was crippled at home for a few months, and I had this parts kit laying on, so I was like, okay, let me just model it up.
Hmm.
So for me, when I go online to Gunbroken and buy parts kits, I look through all the listings and I go, okay, this model could be made. This is feasible, etc. Like I actually have like engineering judgment on if this model could be reverse engineered or not. And so the FNX was one of those models. And because FN is so consistent with their designs, a lot of the FNS, like the trigger pin placement and the magazine release placement, a lot of that flowed very easily from the FNS, which we already had modeled, into the FNX.
Hmm.
Um, they're more just referenced in a sense of reference where they would go. This is a model that's drawn up from scratch. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, it's a one of the few hammer fired um, printed pistols you can use. Double single action, has a safety decocker. It's one of my favorite printed guns.
Cool.
So,
Okay, how many rounds have you gotten through that so far?
ooh, I think like over 200.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I put it through the paces.
Yeah. What's the most rounds anyone's put through a 3D printed gun so far?
Ooh, I think that depends on what
enough
class.
to, yeah,
Huh?
enough to stop counting.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I was just curious, like, what's the 3D printed gun that has the most rounds through it and still functioning?
I mean, so generally, if we're doing dev on a frame, if we want to do longevity testing, we'll count to like 1,000 and then we'll stop caring,
Okay.
or because we got bored of counting.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
like rough estimation, I know some of Ivan's frames, the Glock frames, have seen upwards of 10,000, but
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's a question that I always get from people. Not that I have any clue to it. I'm slow getting into even making these things myself. So, all right, what are we looking at here?
this is a Browning Bar 22.
Hmm.
It's also a parts kit that I found, and I ascertained it was reasonably able to be reverse engineered, and so uh, I made the receiver for it and then added Picatinny rail. So I basically modernized it.
Hmm.
It's a gun that was made from 75 to 88, so it also doesn't exist anymore.
Hmm.
This I was pretty public about my development on, just because it's basically unobtainable, so
Okay.
you're not going to find it
Okay.
to scout parts kit for.
Yeah. Very cool. What kind of guns do you guys? I think I know Vin probably likes lever action stuff, like what I've got
Oh,
over here, because I think I've actually seen some of his stuff like that. Have you done anything with a Henry? So, for example, this
uh,
is the Henry
yes.
Mears leg,
One second.
45 Colt. So, one of my, I love Henry guns, man. You know, I haven't
they're
done anything. Go ahead. What's that, Alex?
I that's one of the ones I don't actually have that I do want is a nice Henry lever action.
Yeah, they're great. They're great. What do you have? What's this you got here, Vin?
This is Kevin Murray's PLA printed lever action. It's based off the Henry H001.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a regular lever action. It works with mare's legs kits and with full rifle kits. So
Okay. What's the craziest print with a Henry that you guys or thing that with a Henry that you guys know about that was done? Anything crazy?
the AR-7, that's one.
Oh, so, there's AR-7 stuff out there. Really? Okay. Yeah, I need to look.
Then grab yours. Grab yours off the wall.
Yeah, let's see yours. I have like the survival rifle that you're talking about, but I haven't seen any. Let's look at this. Look at this wall. Yeah. All right.
This guy here. This is the pistol model. Pistol barrels are not made anymore, so this is hard to find. Extended mags just for looks. These mags are actually really bad, but I mean it's an AR-7. Takes AR-15 grips, so it's updated for that. 1913 brace or stock interface in the back.
Oh, that's
1913 top for the rails. I mean, has integrated sights, so you can look down the little rift down there and get a sight picture.
Oh, okay. Show me the side of that again, Vin. That's cool, man.
Say again? Show you what?
Yeah, that looks good. So they don't make, so it's hard to get these the pistol barrels.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The rifle ones, the parts kits turn up all the time, so.
Yeah. Edward Brower says looks like the Nintendo Zapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Careful, that's another litigious company.
Right, I can imagine. Yeah. Hasn't Lego been suing people too?
Lego tried to sue everyone?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So people were putting out, what is this? Steve Shitzowak says, didn't Snow use that for his HSF?
I don't think I've seen his HSF.
Yeah.
No.
What does HSF stand for?
Hispanic Scholarship Fund.
Okay.
Blue HT.
Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what it means. So, yeah, and someone, Vin, is that a blue HT 1250 in the background? Let's see.
Like where at? Like you want that?
Yeah, that looks.
That's a Cap 9. It's a Camel AP9 frame. That's also released in the catalog.
Mm-hmm.
That right there is Digital Nemesis Glock 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
what?
A SP2022.
Oh, Han Solo gun. That's what I mean.
Oh, the hand shot first. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like he used the AR-7 for the base of that, and then modeled a bunch of additional stuff on top of it.
Yeah, the Han Solo gun is off the broom, the Mauser broom.
96.
Yeah. Okay, and he says on the desk in the corner. Let's see, the desk in the corner. Are you into ham radio also, Vin?
No, I just bought it to play around with and see what it was all about.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a man of many hobbies.
Right. Yeah. I have I'm a ham radio operator now.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's keeping me away from doing that. I don't want my information published like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I figure I will also do a little bit of radios. I'm a workplace, so I at least have to be aware of how they work.
Okay.
That's why I got just like read and research what it does and stuff.
Yeah. I know some of the guys in that world. So Ham Radio 2.0 has been on the show, and then I know Ham Radio Crash Course, and we've had some other guys come on the show as well. So it's a cool world. But yeah, I get it. You got to put your name and all that kind of stuff out there. So that's how it goes.
The community is also very pro authoritarian too. If you even
they like to tattle.
Yeah.
They like to what?
Tattle.
Oh, tattle. Okay.
They
really?
They will. I think they call it foxhole hunting, or foxholing, or fox hunting.
Oh,
they'll do it for kicks on behalf of the state agency, which
really?
I'm not sure I want to be around people who simp for a state agency. So
I've not met any of that. You know what? Next time I have those guys on, I need to remember that and ask them about, because the guys I know aren't into that. But I guess there would be some people, and I know that there are some people that think it's like fun to track someone down or whatever. But yeah, it's a waste of time. A lot of them I know are pro gun. They're pro gun guys. A lot of them.
The reasoning that the, I guess, pro-authoritarian ham radio people, well, that's a sentence I never imagined saying, pro-authoritarian ham radio people give is that they don't want the FAA taking their privilege and their hobby away. It sounds a lot similar to FUDs with the gun community. They don't want to have people rock the boat with 3D printed guns and stuff because they don't want the government taking our rights away.
Yeah, I would agree with you with what you're saying if I heard that from people. I mean, I know typically like the guys I talk to, and I ask them about like whether or not people are licensed, and they're like, yeah, there's a lot of people who are not licensed and whatever. It's not really a thing. But I would assume there are some folks out there who are, I guess, just bored and trying to track people down and all that. On the flip side, there's a lot of guys that have the radios, they have Bofangs and stuff like that, and they're just waiting, for the apocalypse or something to use them. But, technically, you can have those radios all you want to and listen to them. It's not really a problem until you transmit on them. But from what I've seen those guys talking about, the FCC is really not going after anyway. Because it happens a lot. I have the radio. I have a big antenna on the house. I have one set up on the van here, and I hear people on there that probably don't have the license, but people just ignore them.
I think it's also one of those things where you have to really be a nuisance to get someone to come down on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You really. I was looking at a video about this. This is why I'm trying to remember the name. There's a guy that has a channel. I think it's not a Rubicon if I'm not mistaken, and he was talking about this, that there's folks on our side who don't want to get into it because they're worried about the whole FCC thing. And he said that when he looks it up, there's very, very few cases of the FCC actually going after anyone, because it's like a whole thing to go after. That person has to be really annoying and really going out of their way to have the FCC show up there or even get fined. And even the one example that he gave, he said that definitely that guy got a big fine, and there's no proof the guy ever even paid it. So it was interesting. Like, I think that's an interesting. I need to remember that the next time. I think I'm probably going to have Ham Radio 2.0 on here at some point. So it's a good thing. But there's places here where the worlds collide, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for example, there's a store called Gigaparts, and I went out there, and that's I got radio stuff and all that from them, and I met them, and they encouraged me. They're in Huntsville, Alabama, and that store sells 3D printers, all that kind of stuff.
Ooh. Like a Radio Shack, if Radio Shack would still survive.
Yeah.
I miss Radio Shack.
Yeah, well, they are like a Radio Shack. I was inside of the store. They sell computers, gaming stuff, ham radio stuff. They sell 3D printers. You could look up Gigaparts. And I believe that Lola has a like some kind of code or something for them somewhere. But and they've actually been on the show here. So I think that these circles kind of cross in places, and I met them because the guys there are very, very much pro gun. And they actually, so I was at the Overland Expo East, which is in Virginia, and these guys had a setup there, and they actually recognized me from the gun world, and they're like, hey, anything we could do to help you out, we'll help you out. So if you ever want to make some contacts there, I could probably help you out with that. And 802Pew says FCC could care less about amateur radio anymore. Yeah, I think the thing. So if people want to preserve it, then they just have to become part of it and play in the space. The thing that's happening is the radio frequencies are incredibly valuable. So the amateur ones are super valuable, and by people participating and getting licensed and using them, it helps take away the rationale of that the government would have to sell that.
The Who Moved My Freedom podcast is made possible by our partners at 2A Commerce. Veteran owned and with over 20 years experience, 2A Commerce is the leader in custom e-commerce and web application development in the shooting sports industry. Clients include major brands such as Guard Dog Body Armor, Sylvan Arms, AccuFire Technologies, The Tactical Games, Warrior Knife Company, and yours truly, Hank Strange. Visit 2A Commerce and support this show by supporting them. Once again, visit the number 2acommerce.com.
All right, hoisted by my own petard. Cut off by the countdown thing that I didn't even notice there. Let me just get this in. I'll get off of the radios. So 802Pew says the FCC could care less about amateur radio anymore. Cell phones and deployable infrastructure changed the need tremendously. Case in point, we deployed a wide area communications network in Texas within 24 hours of Hurricane Harvey stopping.
Ooh,
so
wow.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff that these guys are involved in. So all right, so here's my thing. I keep forgetting to ask you guys this. Bullpups, what for other, I know there's the bullpup Glock. What other bullpups are in the making? Come on, give me some good stuff.
Oh man,
it's a secret.
Oh damn it.
No.
Okay.
I know there are a couple of people working on bullpupping an AR. Couple of people working on sort of I say game-changing ideas in the 3D printing space that will include bullpups, but I can't say any more than that. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a nice deviation from the set of parts that we currently see being used commonly in 3D printed guns. So you'll see it when it drops. It'll yeah.
Okay. So a bullpup that we've not seen before, or something that's a clone of like maybe a stuff that they have in Europe, or
we're getting into entirely new fire control groups. And so it's more common than the AR-15, but you wouldn't know it.
Really?
Yeah, and as soon as it's a dead simple idea, and as soon as it comes out, it'll be one of those that gets heavily accepted because it's just so simple to modify and tweak. So
it's gonna be hot like fire.
But yeah, it'll go into bullpups, it'll go into pistols, rifles, everything across the board. Okay.
So what's the new stuff that's been going on that you guys are, what are you guys watching? What are you guys thinking about? The stuff in your world. Yeah, like the news or things that are coming up that are important, or some new printers or methods, or
new printers wise, the Bamboo X1 is done a Kickstarter. I joined their Kickstarter. It's supposed to be just a really fast printer, so I'm expecting the Glock prints to take like 6 hours instead of a whole day. A Mac Daddy in an afternoon instead of 2 days or something like that.
Wow.
So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to play with that once it comes in. The Voron 3D printers are another good batch of really high-end printers that I'm starting to play with, that we're starting to see get picked up across the community. In fact, I'm doing a small order of Vorons for like my Twitter people, a small pre-order, so we
what
can
are
get
those going for?
Some circulating. They're about $1,000.
Oh, okay.
And that it's $1,000, and then you still have to build it.
Oh, okay.
Right. So,
right.
but it's supposed to deliver results on that kind of par. So I have,
is it like the 2.4? Is that like this?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
2.4. But yeah, and then and again, like it shows up, and you just have this bag of parts, and you have to follow the manual to build the printer, and get it set up.
Okay.
So.
And what's the the pros of that? Is it just bigger, faster?
Yeah, it's larger than your Ender 3s. It's faster than any Ender 3s, Ender 5s, any other like commercial printer. commercial hobby grade printer. It's supposed to be more tunable, so you can have more consistency over time. You get higher temperatures, so you can print more fancier materials like your nylons and your I forgot like the Zytel sort of material. Stuff that's just really hard to print with on your stock Ender 3s, Ender 5s, stuff you buy off Amazon. So I've got some high hopes for this one. It's gonna. I hope that it will. By doing this pre-order, getting some more printers out there, we can get some more people willing to test with these higher end filaments, more durable materials.
Oh, very cool. By the way, we got another some more money has come in here from Armin and Axis, and it's a link to Facebook/Mustache Rides. What is it? Rides allergy something, and a Wikipedia mention of mustache ride. So there you go. That's for you, Vin. I'm assuming that's for you. Yeah, that's for you. That's for you. You're not gonna live it down. You're gonna have to 3D print something with a mustache on it. Okay, so that's cool. That's a no.
Do it for the gram.
Yeah, Vin. Yeah. Is there some new stuff out there that you're looking at, Vin?
I'm actually trying to stay away from the news on Twitter right now, because every time I open Twitter, it's like another disaster happens.
Yeah.
I guess news wise. I mean, man, I kind of want to see the VHS gun hit the market, but not for like an insane amount of money, just to see how that works and how it plays like. I just picked up a GD printer for like half off what it would sell for, and I'm about to make my first foray into printing nylon and coax, so let's see how that goes.
Okay.
Other than that, I've just been working on my own projects and whatnot.
Okay. Very cool. Now, I sent you guys, I'm going to sidetrack here a little bit to go to a story, because I was looking to see what 3D printing gun stories were out there, right, since you guys were coming on. And I shared this one with you. This is dated June 23rd, 2022. 3D printer capable of making ghost gun parts stolen from MTA rail yard. This is in the New York Post. That's Metropolitan Transit Authority. A brand new $103,000 3D printer capable of making parts for ghost guns, quote unquote, was stolen from the MTA's Pitkin rail yard. And this thing went missing from the MTA rail yard in Brooklyn earlier this year and has yet to turn up, the Post has learned. The printer was delivered to the Pitkin rail yard on March 24th, but was not reported missing until 12 days later on April 5th, said a source with knowledge of the investigation into what officials suspect was theft. So the whole thing about this is they're assuming, like, this is just a 3D printer, an expensive 3D printer, and that actually looks like Cody right there.
It's a stock photo.
Yeah, it is.
All the articles are stock photos.
Yeah. So, there's like this whole investigation going on here, but the point of this story is that this 3D printer can be used to make gun parts, but that's not what the station had it for. They had it for making parts there at the railroad, like if they need parts, instead of ordering it and probably not getting it, there's a lot of stuff you can't get nowadays, they would just 3D print their parts. I recently went to a company that builds batteries here in Florida, and they were doing the same thing. They told me they literally can't get plugs. A lot of stuff like plugs and all that were made in the Ukraine. They can't get them, so they're 3D printing them. But these guys made that leap to, this dangerous 3D printer can make gun parts and it's missing. What do you guys think?
I mean, did you hear about the guy who choked on his Chinese food at the restaurant down the street? Did you know that food, while it is edible, can also be used for like killing people via asphyxiation?
Right.
So it serves that we should ban food because you could choke on it and die.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The New York
This
Post.
is what I call propaganda. They're talking about $100,000 printers. That easily puts it in like the Stratasys realm of like industrial, like commercial printers. And let's be honest, even if that printer was gifted to you, you could not afford to run it. So no one's making 3D printed guns of those things.
Yeah, I mean, could we take a guess at what printer cost $103,000? What 3D printer?
So there's two issues about this. Any industrial 3D printer will cost upwards of $100,000.
Okay.
But this could also be an Ender 3 that someone sold to the government for $100,000.
Right. Yeah, that's what someone just said. Yeah. It's silly, but I think the point here is that to some point, make a 3D printer into a machine gun. Like if you have a 3D printer, you're dangerous because you might be printing guns or gun parts out of it, which in my mind, you're not. That even if you were doing that, that doesn't make you dangerous if you're doing that. But I think that's the point of where all this is going. Like, ooh, this expensive 3D printer has disappeared that could make guns. Someone in New York is making illegal guns right now. Someone just probably stole it and sold it for 20 grand.
Right? Or they scrapped it for 20 grand in parts.
Yeah.
Or just scrap metal.
Yeah.
So it'd be really hard to steal a printer like this. If it's $100,000,
you would either have to use it as is or cut it down to pieces.
Right.
Yeah. Typically, how big are those? How big and how heavy would those be? Yeah. But if you're in a rail yard,
it's like the size of a car.
Yeah, they're like people sized. They're big.
Yeah. And 802Pews is very mad at Cody Wilson for some reason. I don't know if you guys know what the reason is for that, but he's giving you more money, so I'm gonna put his thing up there at this point. I gotta put his comment up there, but yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people. I have noticed since I had Cody on that there are people who in the gun community that are mad at him. I don't know if you guys could shed some light on that. Yeah, I'm not really sure but people I'm sure will find reasons to be mad at different people. He's not. I don't find him to be anti. Someone asked me that though. Someone was like, "Oh, isn't that guy like anti-gun?" And I was like, "I don't understand where that's coming from." Because and I don't know if that's that's what the point that 802 is making there, but everyone has their different opinions of stuff here. I don't find him to be anti-gun or what he's doing to be something destructive for the pro-gun side.
I don't know that he's anti-gun. I might hesitate to say he's pro-gun because he's more of the political slant than the gun slant.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because it's like, and I'm gonna get some shit for this. It's like libertarian Twitter, right? I talk to a lot of them. I've been on a lot of their shows, and they're not necessarily pro-gun. They're pro-freedom, which is fine and good. But I've gone on their shows and I've talked to them about 3D printing guns, and like most of them haven't like gone and printed a gun, but they keep retweeting me. So I was like, okay, well that's cool, but like also 3D print a gun because you should learn the engineering of it. Beyond the politics into the real life, real world thing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think it's it's just like there's a lot of rhino Republicans out there that say they're pro-gun, and then I'm like, okay, so where do you guys shoot or whatever? And like, oh, I don't really like shooting or really like guns, but I am pro-gun. I mean, listen, there's all kinds of people on the spectrum.
There's a lot of pro-gun people who are in it, like what Pew said, just for the politics of it. They think, oh, okay, well, guns are a tool as a means to the end. In a sense that guns can help secure liberty, and so therefore they're pro-gun. But as far
which
as
is fine, right? I mean, as an idea, that's fine, right? There's like, I'm not saying you're not. I'm not trying to even force anyone out there to even be pro-gun. Much less you could be pro-gun and not own any guns. I guess it's fine.
Right. I'm not trying to gatekeep gun ownership here. It's just, how do I say? That's the best way to, I guess, explain that particular demographic. Guns are a usable tool for securing liberty. Therefore, we like guns, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and then I think so so far as the 3D printing side of it, I think even like Alex was saying earlier that, like it's taken me a while to actually get there to do the stuff. I think that's just a matter of like, okay, we gotta. But I think we're gonna see more and more gun guys going in this direction, right? If you want to get your hands on things, just in terms of parts, like we were talking about, some companies can't get parts; they've got to make them, or just even with all the different rules and regulations coming in there now, you're going to have to go in this direction just because of what everyone else is doing out there. Go ahead, Vin.
Right. I think too that printed guns and 3D printing be more popular as the years go on, because not only can you use a printer to fix stuff in the house, but like you're a gun enthusiast, right? There are some gun designs that you cannot buy. Like this is a Chairman Juan stippled, Glock 43X frame. I'm not sure my camera focus here.
There you go. Yeah, but, it did now.
Yeah, you can't go out and buy this. You have to buy a printer and then download his model for free and then print it.
Yeah.
So, that's the direction I see printers going towards. People are going to buy printers because they want something that they can't buy. So.
Yeah. Someone is asking about what's in Alex's red Solo cup.
Life juice.
Life juice. I think one of the things that some people may have with him, although we didn't get into it when he was on, maybe if he comes back on, it was tough getting him on in the first place, but I'm glad he came on, and I think it was a good guess. He answered all the questions that we asked. By the way, shout out to C in Arsenal. I see him out there, and he gave some money in the in the chat. C in Arsenal says, he says, "Look at y'all handling guns live."
Ooh,
so shout out to Matthias. Look at all the gun handling. By the way,
for another 5.
Yeah, we need to get him. I don't think he came on, but he came on when we couldn't actually handle guns. So now we're able to do it. Yeah. One of the things I think though, what I was getting to in a long way, is I think there are some people that are mad at him because he's coming from kind of like a anarchy point of view. Does that make any sense? He's a little bit of an anarchist. I've seen him talking about that.
Right.
And
more anti-government than pro-gun.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I would say that he's done, regardless of what his motivations are for that, he's done a lot of good stuff for the pro-gun side. Whether I just don't really, that the part of it of like really trying to parse out exactly why or whatever it is, there's a lot of pro-gun guys who haven't done as much. So we just got to balance that out when we look at everything, in my opinion.
I think a lot of the upsetting when people express frustrations like that. I feel like people are, I guess, how do I say it? They don't detach the content from the personality making the content, and maybe sometimes the personality is the content. That's different context. But some people, when they make educational content and such, right? They might have different political opinions than you, but if their content is useful and their content brings you joy or informs you, then the content itself is still good, even if you personally disagree with someone. And then I'm sure that everyone personally disagrees with other topics of all different sorts of people, even their neighbors and their family. So it does befuddle me a little bit when people say they're upset when someone makes a certain opinion online. I get being inflammatory is different from having a different opinion, but that's another topic for another time.
Yeah. And I think I think one of did we lose Alex?
I think so.
Yeah. I think one of the things there is that the government is out there throwing a lot of our money at making and making it difficult for us to get our hands on things. So the idea of making it easier, to get things, I think is the people who are out there making it easier for us when the government's making it more difficult. I give kudos to them. Oh, here we go. We lost him. I think. Did your Yeah, I think his internet went down. Yeah. He says his connection died, and I think he's trying to get back on right now. So We're working on we're working on that. The government pulled the plug on that. Oh, there he goes.
Hey, I'm back.
We thought they pulled the plug on you, man. They pulled the plug on you. So.
No, they're actually raiding next door, so I'm good.
Right.
They got the address wrong again.
Yeah, we didn't hear any dogs getting shot in the background. Yeah, he says, CN Arsenal says, why oh why did we handle them live? Oh, it's not that. No, we're totally good. I hope we can get CN Arsenal here on the show soon, man. And he obviously, because you can see there, anyone in the chat, you could just click through and follow these guys on their Utreon channels. So CN Arsenal has one, and Vin has one, which is in here. You can see Vin commenting, as well as Alex from Control.
We wouldn't be able to keep the Who Moved My Freedom podcast going without the support of manufacturers like Safety Harbor Firearms. SHF is a quintessential family-owned small business, totally representative of the American dream. Safety Harbor Firearms is a Florida-based manufacturer of the compact entry stock and the SHTF 50 upper for an AR-15 lower. Also, SHF happily delivers on your Sten gun parts needs. So don't forget to check out stenparts.com and safetyharborfirearms.com.
Now he's laughing at the harp. I have missed all of these through this whole show. Talking to you guys, every single one. Okay, so listen, we're over the 9 o'clock hour, so we need to start. Yeah, we need to start wrapping this up. We're just having too much fun, man. We're just having too much fun. Too much anarchy is being had right now on Utreon. You know. So, what is he typing in there? Rager?
No. Evil SD said something about the fake Control+Pew on Instagram who likes to scam people.
Maybe that should be your words of wisdom.
Is there a bunch of fake Control+Pew on Instagram?
There's one that just I keep trying to get him deleted, and Instagram just won't. He's blocked me on all of my accounts, so I can't see him anymore. And I'll just get a DM on Twitter one day, "Hey, I messaged you and I sent you Bitcoin, but then you blocked me." I'm like, okay, so hang on a minute, you weren't talking to me.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, for all you know, it is Instagram. That's my thoughts on that, right? When something like that's happening, it's them. They're like, we know how to stop him from keep making another one. Because every time you come on, we're telling people, oh, well, this is the new one.
Right.
You've got to go over to this one. Uh-huh.
Right. No, it's a never-ending thing. Twitter finally, after 3 years of having a Twitter profile, they finally deleted me. So now I've got a new one. It's just
Twitter
never-ending, man.
Yeah, we need to get
Twitter.
Musk needs to close that deal. Next time we come on, we'll talk about it. So listen, I'm gonna let these guys tell you how you can look them up, follow them, and all of that. Let's start with Vin. Vin, where can folks go? How can they follow you on the social medias?
So, I have a website, shopping list for 3D printed tools and stuff that I keep at my desk, called vinstoolbox.com, VINHSTOOLBOX.com, Vin's Toolbox. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram, WinKVN, NGUIEN, I mean, if you like the stuff I do, find me on like Patreon and whatnot. So that's where I'll be and whatnot. So yeah.
Okay, awesome. And then Control+Pew, which 802 says he just paid you for Voron on Instagram, and then.
Sorry, dude. No refunds.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Control+Pew is not going to be doling out refunds to you guys.
Right. Not especially not for that. Good lord.
Yeah.
So first off, go to controlpew.com. That's where I put all my stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The guide.controlpew.com if you want to get started in 3D printing. Shop.controlpew.com if you want to support us or other creators in the community. And then from the website, you can find all of my other actual social media accounts. So every time I get deleted, I'll update the URL.
Yeah, he says it was worth a shot, man. He's just trying to see if he can get some money back, claw back some money that he gave you.
It's all right, man. Look, if you're not, I can't refund you for my Subscribe Star either. All right, I know who you are in real life, 802.
I can't believe that it's
I know where
actually
you live,
become a.
too.
I can't believe that you've actually become a scam that someone's running now.
Right? It's a whole
Wow.
new world. It's
Yeah.
Anyway, ControlP.com is where you find everything. All the links to my socials are in the sidebar. Yeah, that's the gist of it. Don't even bother, trying to follow the Twitter pages because they're not. Just go to the website, sign up for the newsletter, and then if you want to do social media stuff, do that. But
That's the
expect
number
me to
one way.
manage.
That's the number one
Yeah.
way to support anyone now. Just go to their website, sign up for the email list. That's what we actually own. All this other stuff on social media, we don't own. So that's the way to go about it. Please do support these guys. Lots of cool stuff coming out, and we do need to make plans to get you guys here, and do some shooting of these guns. And also, I'm making plans to make some stuff. I'm gonna start actually dipping my toes in the water. I've got other people doing things out there, but I'm ready now, man. I've done a lot of gearing up that you guys aren't aware of. I even got one of those. What is it? Remember Micro Center was selling those Ender 3s for like 90. What was it? No, it was like one something.
$99.
Right, and you had to go in person.
Yeah, you had to go in person. I picked one up, but then Babyface bought it off me when I got back.
Oh.
Yeah, he really wanted that deal. I was like, go ahead, man. You could, you can have the deal.
That deal only works for one person one time. So now he owes you a printer. Because now you can't use your phone number anymore.
So here's what happened. I was driving through. I went all the way out to Flagstaff, Arizona. I wound up all the way out there. And so when I was going through Georgia, I was like, okay, I'm going to stop and get it. And I got it. I took this thing all the way out with me and brought it all the way back. He went through Georgia, and he went the day after they ended that. So then I felt really bad for him. So I was like, okay,
They just reopened it.
And they did?
I think they still include the $10 off filament coupon there. And that's not just for one roll. I heard someone say it was for every single roll you grab in that transaction. So
what?
I guess you could stack up.
Yeah, next time. Or I'll use Lola's number or something like that next time I'm rolling through. Or when everyone...
You stopped by Atlanta and didn't tell me?
No, I literally stopped. I went to I was in that store for like 10 minutes. I went through... I stopped at that store, and then I kept going. So I went from here. I think I was in Kansas, and then I was in Texas, and then where was I? I was in Phoenix, Arizona, and then I went all the way out to Flagstaff. I was doing a van thing, so it was kind of like a crazy trip. I was on the road for more than a month.
Oh wow!
So, yeah, I was living out of the van, and then Lola got on a plane and flew out there to meet me. And then we drove all the way back here. So,
wow.
But we'll use Lola's number the next time on that printer, or I might be able to get $100,000 printer for cheap. There's one floating around out there, so I might be able to do that.
Low price.
Yeah, for a low price.
Check
all right,
Craigslist. Believe it or not,
Craigslist.
there are people who come from education backgrounds and they don't want their printer anymore. Or there are people who buy Ender 3s and they give up.
Okay. Yeah. I actually have a printer. I have another printer. I just cannot remember the name of it right now. But I actually have. It's not an Ender 3. It's like it's closed. It's closed, so it's smaller. So it's all closed in. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
Well, hopefully you got one that was big enough.
No, it's not going to be able to make bigger things, so I'm going to get a different one to do bigger things. And then I do have the Ghost Gunner machine as well. So there's going to be some making. There's going to be some making going on. Some bullpups might be made. Who knows? Hank Strange might be putting out the Strange bullpup like about 50 years from now. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. I'm gonna. What's up?
A Strange bullpup made by Hank Strange would be kind of funny.
Right.
I would buy one.
Limited edition.
I would put it. Right. Doesn't matter how good it is. It would just go on the shelf next to the.
Oh, so it doesn't have to work. That's what.
It doesn't have to work.
Matter of fact, if it doesn't work, it's better. It's more collectible.
Right. Well, when I get old and I can give people tours of my gun room, be like, yeah, this is the strangest bullpup.
Right, there you go. There you go.
Sells itself.
Yes, I may have to make that happen now. I'm going to run in the end here, and then we're going to come back, and someone's going to give... Who's doing words of wisdom?
Vin.
Yeah. Oh, there you go, Vin.
Words of wisdom? Like right now?
Yeah. No, in a second. Let me just roll in the end, and we're going to come back and do words of wisdom. All right, guys. I hope you guys have fun. Tomorrow night, we're going to have Richard Hoffman, so the Hoffmeister is going to be on. We might get Flying Rich. I don't know. It might be a show tomorrow night of two dicks. Richard Hoffman and Richard Hughes. It might be that show. If we can find another Richard one of these days, we'll do three dicks. We'll take it up another notch, but that's what's happening tomorrow. Okay, Vin, words of wisdom.
I guess my words of wisdom are... Oh, man.
Asper Warrior said, make it words so wise they make your mustache grow.
Okay. I guess that's one thing to talk about. We talked about privacy and anonymity earlier in today's podcast, right? So if you don't know what privacy and anonymity is, look up ways that you can begin to protect your information and claw back that privacy. Because in today's age, it's an ongoing fight to keep it. When you have cell phones that track you everywhere and email services that dig through your messages and stuff. Look at ways that you can protect your information and better guard yourself against people exploiting your data for their gain. I guess that's one thing I'd like to share as a word of wisdom.
Awesome. Thank you. Very well done. Thanks to CTRL+Pew as well as Vin for coming on here. I appreciate both of you guys. You guys stay right there. Big thanks to you guys. We'll see you all tomorrow night. We're out of here. I got to go press the buttons. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Let's see. Hit the buttons properly.